in our tradition, we don't use protection.
Okay.
Because that's a very inefficient way to do things. That's right.
Love is the most powerful.
Yes, but it's on how you apply it. Yes, it is the most powerful, but here's two things. First of all, we can be influenced by other people's feelings. We can be influenced by other people's directed thoughts, but we're only influenced to the degree that we will resonate with it.
I felt guilty my sister died.
Sure. Now that's a factor. Here's another very important factor. We are most vulnerable when we're in a high state of stress from any reason whatsoever. See? That's when we're most vulnerable. Because the reason we're vulnerable is because a high state of stress means a high state of tension in the body. When you have a high state of tension in the body, different parts of your body become disconnected in terms of communication. And you become disconnected from your source. And then your subconscious begins to feel afraid. And then when it feels afraid, it comes up with all this negative stuff that you ever learned. It's the tension that produces this, tension of the stress that produces this effect. One of the first things you learn in this tradition is release the tension. First thing, however you do that, whether it's Hoth Bass, whether it's Lomi Lomi, get that tension down. Relieve that stress. When you start doing this, your whole self starts to become calmer. Your connection with your source of power or love becomes stronger. You start remembering things that you can do. Okay? You start to get positive benefits immediately from that first step. Now, then we have some techniques that we teach in this knowledge. You've heard of the white light of protection, okay, which is very commonly known and used and misused. It's a very inefficient way to do things because the people who use it are doing it out of fear. So it becomes a symbol of fear. And fear creates tension. And then so you have to make a stronger shield, which creates more fear, which creates more tension and more separation. It doesn't work very well. Huh? Yeah. So what we use is a different concept entirely with a similar imagery called La'a Kea. La'a Kea, which basically means clear sacredness or clear light. And the easiest way to do this is to imagine a field of energy around you, and it can be light, or it can be sound, or it can be vibration, whatever you like. But you tell it to harmonize all the energy around you. Not to protect you from anything, but just by your will, harmonize that energy so that it's no longer disturbing me. And when you do that, and if the stuff that you're feeling, if it is coming from an outside influence, you'll immediately have a degree of calmness, maybe complete. It's like, that's how one way you know whether it's outside of this self. If you do this and you harmonize and you don't get any change, then it's all your own stuff. Then you've got to start making some mental changes. But it's a real good way, and it doesn't matter who or what it's coming from, because it could be a neighbor next door who's also under stress. Doesn't even know you. But if you're resonating with the same kinds of problems that person has, yours can be amplified. See, it doesn't have to be intentional. That's why trying to figure out who's doing it, total waste of time. If you're sensitive, you can be aware of all kinds of things. So you need some way to get centered and harmonize your own energy. And this simple La'a Kea is very helpful. I think I described that in Instant Healing, by the way. Yeah.